2.
Good evening, sports fans. We're at it again. This is Who the Heck Are We? And we are now at episode 21, male's debut, that is. And we are still with the Fearsome Foursome, that is. Sorry. So we have Roger Perrine and Jay De La Cruz still at the PBA bubble at Quest Hotel. And our field reporter for this evening, because he's still stuck in traffic, and braving the Metro Manila pile of cars, is Clara Manzano, somewhere within southern Metro Manila. And yours truly, Lance
Wherever the heck he
Fernandez.
is.
Forever traffic. Even if there's a quarantine, there's still traffic because we're opening up. So there's a
Uh,
lot of cars in the road already.
Yeah.
So it's not new normal. It's like old normal, the traffic. But anyway, so we were joined by Jovin Bedic during our last episode, and we would like to continue the PFL trend that we're going to traverse. So this week, or this episode, we came from Kaya, Iloilo, and now we are going to Laguna, and representing Stallion FC is one of their stalwarts. So let's welcome Matthew Nierras.
Hi
onwards,
everybody.
baby.
Hi, Matt. Nice background, huh?
Yeah, it was nice for a while ago when there's a sunset, but then Clara took a while, so
Yeah, so blame it on the field reporter.
Uh,
All right.
So our field reporter will just chime in whenever his internet and his audio will be good. But I guess first question, Matt, is how excited are you finally that there is a PFL season despite it being shortened?
ah, very excited. We are kind of scared that we might not have a season, considering um, how let's say tight the Philippines was with their restrictions for basically everything. Um, so it's exciting to get to play again. A little bit weird, obviously, shorter season. Um, but is what it is. We're here already. Like, been in the bubble a week now. Been preparing little over a month, maybe 2 months almost. Obviously, staying fit while in quarantine in the first few months. So at least we have something to show.
Mm,
oh,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
by the way, what were you doing prior to the quarantine?
Which quarantine? The
The
very beginning,
March
like March.
yeah, the
webinar,
lockdown.
We were training. We
lockdown before
started
quarantine.
training in, I want to say, mid-January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
training.
January up to March already we were training, and then we were getting updates that there was going to be a lockdown. So we made preparations. Other players were told to go home because it looked like the lockdown was going to be at least 2 weeks, maybe a month. And then so
Mm-hmm.
we kept in
And
touch,
and it
like
extended.
workouts and stuff, and then it kept extending, and then it got to the
Mm.
point where like, do we even have time for a season? Are we even going to be allowed to play? Because even Binyan, our home field, um, was being used as a quarantine facility. The
Right.
field and the
Yes,
basketball
yes.
stadium right next to it. So also we're like,
Stadium.
I don't think we
Yes.
can play there. Um, but yeah, here we are.
That's right. That's right.
I can just imagine your anxiety, anxiety buildup of a player that you were already deep in training and then lockdown, then extend. I can imagine the anxiety that you feel as an athlete too. Yeah, there's that question that are we even gonna continue this one, Diba?
Yeah, initially I think the season was supposed to start end of March or first week of April. So
Yeah.
we're a couple weeks away from
Opening.
kickoff, yeah, from the opening games, and then this happened. Um, the other teams were already playing. Kaya and Ceres were already had AFC games,
That's right.
so it's unlucky that the AFC Cup
Hmm.
got cancelled. But at least we still have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of a long dark tunnel, there's always light. And here we are,
Hmm.
continuing with a shortened PFL season. Despite that, at least football fans and even the players are so relieved that finally PFL is back But I would like to ask you, Matt, and this is a question that both Claudia and Jay would relate to. How many times have you undergone the swab test, and how does it feel?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
As of today, I would have gone, I want to say 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was one before the start of training, because the
Mm-hmm.
sorry, training after or during the lockdown. So this was in, I want to say, August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That was the first one, was it?
That
In
was the very
August?
first one. This was
Yeah.
to allow players to come to Carmona to train.
That's right. Yeah.
Only if you tested negative for that would you be cleared to come to train with the team. So that was the very first one. The next one was Oc- October 16th, before quarantine prior to the bubble, 21st in the bubble, and then a couple more since we had a couple cases here, so they need to
Yeah.
test everyone. And then we did it maybe every, I want to say, 2 days, just to double check, like make sure it wasn't spreading and all that stuff. So the PFL did a really good job in terms of making sure people were cleared to start training and to enter the bubble and everything.
Yeah. It feels weird, right? It feels weird that those.
It's horrible. Like, if if anyone has gone to an ENT, like has sinus problems and stuff, because I have sinus problems, so I've done
Okay.
it before, but it's just something you never want to have to experience. And then my teammates and I at this point were just like, okay, when's the next one? Let's just get it over with.
It's also for safety reason. It takes out the anxiety after you get the results. Like, oh, thank the Lord, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course. But still, you're just like, here we go again.
yeah, right. And you start
Even
crying. It's like you start crying. And
yeah,
The pain lingers.
it depends on who pokes you. That's the problem. It depends on if the girl or the nurse or the guy
yeah.
was a heavy hand. Oh gosh.
Some are nice, some are nice. Like it's kind of smooth in, and
Yeah.
then this one time, it's like the med tech was searching for
Oh
something
my god.
there. It was just there, and then it was just like wiggling and just poking my brain.
Yeah, right. Don't poke my brain cells. Oh yeah.
I wonder what they are searching for. Yeah, and swab test, that's one of the examinations that no matter how many times you do it, you don't get numb after.
Pressure hunting.
There's a different experience every time you undergo a swab test,
Ugh.
depending on the swabber or the technician. So it's a different experience altogether. And yeah, well, we have to do it to keep everybody safe and
Yeah.
to make sure that we are accurately tracing.
Mhm.
Wag naman sana na ano, whoever is got contacted with the virus. But anyway, so we have discussed the present, but we would like to go to the past, Matt. And we all know that your father is one of the coaching icons in the Philippines. So was it forced to you that to pick up football, and how much of an influence is he in your career right now?
Um, so let's go way back first, so to put it into, I guess, context and everything. So I grew up in the States, born and raised in the States. Moved to the Philippines when I was about, I want to say, 8 or 9. But I started playing football, or well, there, soccer. I think I was about 4.
Oh,
So
that's young.
coming, yeah. So I mean, it's just like those little cute kids you see, everyone running after the ball, everyone crowding. It's just wearing oversized uniforms and that stuff. But you play every year, and then carried over to when we moved here. So I started when we moved. I went to La Salle. Played, I want to say, from the 3rd grade up to first year, and then um, second year high school, I got a scholarship to Southridge, and then so played for Southridge second to fourth year, and then from there I went to Taft. And then my dad's
Mhm.
coaching, from what I remember, I mean, being my dad, like by default, he was always going to be my coach. He played when he was younger, just
Mhm.
like any parent, I guess. But for like an actual, let's say, career, when he started, I would have been around maybe late grade school. But that time it was just club football,
Right.
not club football like now, but just kind of like academies. If you're lucky, you get to play on the weekends with other kids in the area, usually on the
Yeah.
weekdays, and then usually you train on the weekends, and then that eventually grew to um, MPLFA, so Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, Parañaque, so South
Mm.
Metro Manila. A lot of the players there were from Southridge, Woodrose, Zobel, ICA, Southville, and then just that area in general, just that south area.
Yep.
And then from there, it's a bit of a blur. But next thing I know, when I was in late high school or early college, back then it was still Gilligan's FC, and then
Okay.
Stallion FC, and then one time in college he goes, "Okay, after class, I need you to go to here because we have a game and I don't have enough players. I need you to play." I'm like,
Oh,
okay, my class ends a little early.
obedient.
I should make it in time. And then ever since then, I've been with Stallion.
Nice.
Very
Wow.
obedient kid.
Very obedient kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obedient.
I think Clara's back. Clara, you there?
Yeah, I guess so. No,
Yeah.
no, he's
Yeah, I'm here.
There. Okay. Well done.
Wanna chime in? Wanna chime in, Clara?
Yeah, these are like the basics or like how Matt pretty much learned how to play football and but what I'd like to hear is his stories in college because I got to watch him play. So perhaps you guys could just carry on.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so
Uh,
essentially when he came back, he became a LaSalle lifer, so to speak. He went to Zobel and then went to LaSalle. And I guess the next question, because there's a green side when it comes to UAAP, and there's a blue side. We all know what that school is. The rivalry started in basketball, but
Yeah.
now in the UAAP, as long as Ateneo and LaSalle clashes, regardless of sport, there seems to be an automatic rivalry. So,
oh,
how's the atmosphere of those games when you were in college?
War. straight up just war. um it People may not know this, but my dad actually went to Ateneo when he was younger.
Grade school. Right? Oh no.
Yes, I'm pretty sure grade school. I
Okay.
No
forget.
way.
Yeah.
Your dad's like diehard LaSalle and supportive of you and your sister.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we're his kids, so I think by default he's got to do that. But so his story was he was Ateneo in, I want to say, grade school, transferred to Lourdes, um, then went to UP for a year or two in college, and then he went to university in the US. He went to Marquette in the US.
We never actually went to LaSalle.
He said he took I want to say a term or a year in LaSalle
Okay.
prior to moving to Marquette. But when we moved here, we were in the South, and then LaSalle was the best school for us, so he put us in there. It was also one of the nearest.
Where?
And then so us kids were more or less all LaSalle. My older sister also went to Taft in college. My sister after me went to UP, and then but her and my third younger sister also went to LaSalle in grade school, and then the youngest sister now is taking up pre-med in LaSalle as well.
Oh, so it's all green.
So the kids are all green.
oh,
My dad kind of plays the lines between supporting his kids in LaSalle, but being from Ateneo in high school, and then being UP
oh.
also.
The
But
thing is,
then,
baka it's a case of defection then, di ba? There are a lot of cases na nagde-defect from one school. Example, like this, your dad from Ateneo, suddenly for whatever reason, he like defected to LaSalle.
yeah,
Baka
but
ganun siya.
but at least for him, he gets to see both sides of the war. I
Oh,
mean,
well,
the
yes.
rivalry, or
Could you explain like
However
what
nice.
you mean? What war? What do you have an experience, like a particular experience that making you say that it was war, like a certain game or?
not really, but it's just the atmosphere. I think um, it's different as a player because you're just focusing on the game. Like ideally, no matter who you play against, you want to win.
Right. Yeah.
People on the outside, who your schoolmates, your fans, the alumni, teachers, staff of the school, you know, they they can't be part of the game,
Yeah.
so they support the players, and being part and supporting and just watching the game and then getting that win makes them feel good. So
Yeah.
then that's driven people to push for that rivalry, and then um, it's kind of tricky to explain it. But then for me, like me personally, the easiest way is if you asked me about Ateneo Salle, it's just straight up
War.
war. Like, you're not gonna go into the game and like intentionally hurt people. Like I'm gonna break this guy's leg. That's completely wrong.
Yeah.
So,
You're
so
gonna go in
does
hard.
does an Ateneo player elbow harder, or they trip you more intentionally compared to other schools, something like that?
Yeah, yeah. But it's actually a lot of it also comes from just trash talking from the sides.
Oh, that's so good.
Speaking of
It's
speaking of trash talking, um, I've witnessed LaSalle Ateneos in basketball and football, and both are unique because I can say basketball, you have the school pride. Pero parang in football, yung crowd nagiging personal eh. Like,
Oh yeah.
you hear
Oh,
LaSalle
yeah.
and Ateneo, they just start hurling personal things at each other. Do
Oh,
you
but
feel that on the pitch, Matt?
Me personally, I don't think I've heard someone direct anything to me, but to other teammates, like player to player or just outside fans, especially like when a parent gets upset that their kid got hit a little too hard.
Oh.
Mm.
You know, they do not know each other. The parent of the kid is attacking the opposite player, and you're just like, why? Am I allowed to curse on here?
Well, we could go. Bleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case I get a little
Yeah,
carried
we
away.
can edit.
Okay, we could you go. Bleep. You know, it's audio anyway.
Okay.
And besides, it's gonna be fun. You know.
Okay. But yeah, it's to put it plainly how I'd like to say it gets pretty fucking wild.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Like I've I've heard insults that have inspired me to insult someone eventually that way.
Oh my
Like
god.
it's that they're like that
Oh.
creative that you're
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh, guys.
you get upset at it, but you also appreciate it. Like that's pretty good.
it would bring
It,
out the best in you kasi, di ba?
Yeah.
yeah, it fuels your
It
inner.
is a fire.
Yeah, it
Here's the
fuels your
fire,
inner
yeah.
competitiveness,
And
right?
for some reason, you even commend that one insulting because he did his research. Oh wow, he knows me well. So
Yeah, yeah. No, and then like the best answer, because I mean it's kind of useless for a player to walk towards that person and attack them verbally, might get a card or something. Like the
Yeah.
best way to answer it is you score a goal, you win the game, and then you walk over that side and just look that way, give a dirty look, and be like, what the fuck can you say to me now? Like we won the game.
yeah, that's always the best counter to
Is
those
win the
people who
game.
like to
Yeah.
chit chat. Yeah.
Let the game
And
do
my-
the talking.
Yeah, exactly. My very first UAAP game was Ateneo Lasal.
Oh wow.
Oh wow,
Because
baptism
I
of
was-
fire. Huh.
Yeah,
You were a rookie, so you were a rookie.
Yeah, I was a rookie. There was, if I'm not
Debut.
mistaken, 5 of us rookies that started that game.
What?
Everyone, and everyone.
Oh, Matt,
kinda like,
am I correct? You were bald?
yeah. Of course, that's the tradition.
Paying reverence to the dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were telling a story. Go ahead. Yeah.
So
sorry,
you were a
that was-
rookie, yeah, Ateneo
Yeah,
Lasal.
rookie. Very first game would have been my first war. And then atmosphere is crazy. You have the pep squad. Like you hate it, but you love it because the drums are so loud and you can't hear each other. You're shouting at each other, but it's kind of hard to communicate. But then
It's
like
true.
you feel it, and then you can bleep this out. if it, like, I don't want to insult any Lasallians, but when you hear the Ateneo trumpets, that's when you know, like, you
Oh,
know, it just got real.
oh
You,
really?
like, coming from high school and then PFL, UFL, none of this existed back then. So, like, UAAP was the highest for me, like, in terms of local football. Like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be my first of 5 years. Like, this is where I want to be. And then that first game where you play against your rival school, pep squad, everyone around the field, and this was standing, and they had a couple bleachers, but it's crowded,
Oh
and
wow.
just that atmosphere, like, you hate and you love the insults, you hate and you love the noise, and we finished that game. We won 5-2.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big margin.
It
Yeah.
was it was I think it was uh 2-3-0 at halftime. We were feeling good, and we were just like, this is Ateneo's home field. You know, this,
No.
like, we're up at the half. Let's just destroy them some more.
I'm
So
back.
it finished, if I'm not mistaken, 5-2 or 5-1, something like that. And, like, that to me is still one of the best, if not the best games for me. My whole UAP
And
career.
that was your rookie year, right?
It was my
Your
very first game.
debut.
Rookie
Very
year,
first
yes.
game.
Yeah, very
And,
first.
and what, yeah, and was your coach Coach Hans then?
Yes, yeah. Coach Hans was my coach the whole 5 years.
Wow. And did he give it to you during your rookie year, especially in that game?
Give it to us how? Because he gives it to us a lot of ways.
Like at least he inspired you, I'm sure.
Did, did,
Oh yeah, of
did
course.
Coach
He's
Hans give
like,
it holistically? So
let's just say he gives it every way possible. So he goes after you if he knows you can do better,
Yes.
and you're maybe not performing at the level he needs or he wants you to be at, and he knows you can be at. And then there are also times where he just, like, pat on the shoulder, pat on the back, and be like, "Good fucking job."
Wow.
I want to ask something, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you end up playing fullback in LaSalle? Because you started at left back, and then when you played your final year, you were a right back. So how did you end up here as a fullback?
So actually, initially in high school in Southridge, I was playing center back sweeper. When I went to LaSalle, we had some really good seniors at center back, and that time Coach Hans still liked the stopper sweeper setup.
Oh,
So his sweeper was Migs Patag, who was his one of his players from LaSalle Zobel. So with Coach Hans since high school, went with him to college. Like, no questions asked. Like, if I was a coach also, I'd probably put my trust in him as well. Um, Stopper was Chip Perales. He was from Bacolod. He was a big guy, maybe almost 6 feet tall. I am 5'7" if I'm generous. So big difference there as well. Right back starting at that time was Chino Roque, was also from LaSalle Zobel. So I was actually even surprised that I even started that year. Um, but left back was where he put me. No complaining. Like, I'm just happy I get to play. I'm right-footed, but with my adjustments, actually learned more to kick with my left in LaSalle.
okay.
But
Yeah. But
obviously,
Chino
made
Roque is the
adjustments.
astronaut, right?
Yes, exactly. He's our CrossFit astronaut.
Why do you call him the astronaut?
He won the. There was a competition a couple years ago. It was the
Ah,
Axe
yes,
something.
yes, I know that.
Oh, that
oh,
He
that
won
the
that.
trip to
Yeah,
yeah.
the trip to space.
Yeah.
So he won that, and then right now he's actually a pilot and a CrossFit coach, and he also competes in CrossFit, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, he's made a big deal in fitness ever since he graduated.
Oh, nice.
Did
Okay.
you
So,
ever think that you would play with a guy who'd become an astronaut? That sounds so unexpected.
Yeah, the whole idea of it at that time was weird. Like, obviously we were supporting him because he announced that he was going to compete, but you'd think Filipino astronaut, and you'd think, okay, maybe he's like a Philam in the US who got into the program and everything. But I don't remember exactly um, how that whole
competition work.
competition thing worked.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically like ever since then, he's always been Chino the astronaut to us former teammates.
Chino the astronaut. So is that
Yeah.
how you scream his name during the field? Chino the astronaut.
No, that time no, it was just Chino. But now, yeah, now it's Chino the astronaut.
Chino the astronaut with a rocket of a kick. So that will be a nice line to come with it. But going back to Matt, so we've learned something about Chino. So I believe, Matt, that 5 years in the UAAP will come fast. And would you recall the moments that transpired on the field after you played your last game for LaSalle?
Oh, that last game was hard because that was our final against FU. Yeah, we were up. We were leading twice. FU came back twice. Went into extra time. Uh, Conceded a very unlucky goal. I would say it was uh, I want to say it was either a cross or a it was a cross or a shot deflected off one of our guys,
Oh,
keeper, wrong-footed. It wasn't like an amazing goal, like you deserved it. I mean, they played hard, like no questions asked, but like it's just one of those like amazing goals where it just worked out for them. We feel like it just didn't go for us. Like we were up twice. We feel like we did really well that season. I think prior to the finals, we were undefeated. I think it was something maybe like uh third 12, 13 wins and then a couple draws, one or two draws, both I think against FU.
oof.
Then so yeah, like the finals, we were the top two. So when we met them in the finals, and that was my last year, so obviously I really wanted to win it. But that game was hard because then right when that final whistle went,
Oh no.
uh, that's when it hit.
Yeah.
And like I feel me as one of the seniors at that time, I feel like I let everyone down. Because you're like, it felt like you had one hand on the trophy already.
Yeah.
Like LaSalle, Coach Alvin, um, so he was on the coaching staff, and his line to us was always, "You guys should be, you guys should be upset is not the right word, but you guys should be, I guess, in a way, that the last trophy LaSalle won was when he played, and that was like maybe I want to say close to 20-ish years. Maybe it might be a lot. Math is not there. I don't exactly remember when, but it's been a while. Right now it's been back and forth between Ateneo, FU, UP.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of pissing me off, but it's what it is.
So you were this close on getting that trophy.
Yeah, we were
Uh,
this close to breaking the curse, I would say,
yeah.
and then snatched away by a deflection. It was really painful. But that crowd for that game and the previous game, because the previous game was Ateneo LaSalle in the semifinals.
Oh wow.
So that's basically a final.
Yeah.
And then and
Yeah.
then we beat them 1-0. Rizal was basically our home field. We were
Right.
training there every day. It's LaSalle's backyard.
Yeah.
You know. So that was also one of the greatest games we ever played. Like usually when we have to play weekdays, you only have the prep squad. Not a lot of friends and schoolmates can come because of class and stuff.
Mm.
But like when you score a goal and you hear like 3/4 of the grandstand cheering for you and celebrating with you, that's just cannot be replicated.
Right.
That in that like maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute you're celebrating that goal. That's just the reason you come to training every day to play that game, to have that feeling.
Right. No.
Matt,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that your game against Ateneo in Rizal in the semis was one of your last games, and you were playing against some of your good high school friends. And since you were playing in Rizal, of course, which is the LaSalle backyard, did you guys enter that game maybe with a different mindset, given that like, hey, this is our home field?
Yeah, of course, because we were training there every day. So we had no reason to not perform. Like at that time, I think Rizal was already turf. And then Ateneo fields were not. So I don't want to say it was an excuse, but it was also a factor that you're training on turf and then you go to Ateneo and you play on a grass field. So ball movement is different. Just the feeling in general is different. But yeah, like they came to our backyard, they came to our home field. We would not accept a defeat. You know, it's not an option. And it's Ateneo. It's war. You
Yeah.
have to win. It's bragging rights. It's everything.
The animosity is really there.
Yeah, at least
Oh,
there,
yeah.
it's there.
You could lose to all of the other UAAP teams, but never to
Exactly.
your
That's exactly the saying sometimes. Pwede
Yes,
sa
that's
iba,
it.
hindi lang sa Ateneo. And I'm sure they feel the same way, like anyone but Lasal. So that really drives the rivalry.
I wonder what the UP guy has to say about that. No, Lance.
we are a bit good when it comes to football. We won a title recently, but
Oh,
when it comes to collegiate sports in the Philippines, there's nothing like an Ateneo Rizal rivalry, regardless of sport, be it basketball, volleyball, even football, or even baseball. I mean, I remember lately there was an Ateneo Rizal final for baseball, and it's the same intensity when it comes to our rivalry. So it has transpired from being just a basketball rivalry, and it has given birth to other rivalries in other sports, just because of the school and the prestige that comes with the rivalry at that. So we have discussed your football career in LaSalle already. And of course, after LaSalle, you have transitioned to UFL, PFL. So what would be the main difference between UAAP football and professional football?
Ooh, I would say speed of play, obviously. Also, like the factor of being able to bring in foreigners for the teams adds a lot of quality to, and even foreign coaches also. Just different insights from local coaches and everything. So you have a a bigger, let's say, brain, I guess, a bigger like bowl of knowledge for different coaches. You have some coaches from other Asian countries or from Europe, different styles. So there's that, and then technical ability, of course. A lot of the foreigners that come in are very very good players. So even myself, when we've brought in a couple foreigners, um, you just learn a lot from them. Like there sometimes might be a language barrier, but then at the end of the day, the language of football is very universal.
Mm.
Easy to understand. Like you can be quiet, like not speak the language and stuff like that, but you play together on the field, and sometimes you just get it. Um, and also just the physicality of the game. Um, I feel like sometimes in UAP football for a while, it's kind of just kick and run,
Right.
which
mhm.
which also depends. Like if that's your style of play, that works. But also when there was a period where I basically overlapped playing for LaSalle, and then in the off season, I'd be able to train with Stallion, and then we at that time was still UFL, so amateur, semi-pro. I don't recall what exactly, but it was fine to play in both. And then so I'd I'd have that let's say about 8 months with LaSalle for UAAP for training, uni games, all that stuff, and then off season would be my time with Stallion. So I'd get to play with these other former college players, and then players from the province, and then foreigners. So just that setup um, improved me as a player, and also other players did it. You
Mm.
had a bunch of FU guys, I think, playing with Loyola that time. Also UP guys, either Loyola or Kaya, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so that main difference is, I guess, quality overall. You're stepping up from college to professional level. So, um, but
And
also you can
uh,
see that a lot of the players in the PFL now are from college teams.
Yeah.
mm,
So
mm,
you know they can make it. Like right
Yeah.
now, who is this? Amani and Patrick Tato, two guys who grew up in the UAAP system
Mm-hmm.
and then are now playing their football internationally. Like I would say that's about the dream. Like in a way, you've made it,
Yes.
and it's now you
Yes,
just
that's
kind of have
true.
to maintain it. You got to stay there. Like obviously, I think it would be nice to have them back here, but you can't deny them that opportunity to play elsewhere. Like especially to play in um, more challenging leagues and especially better paying leagues. Like it's unfortunate that football here is not number one because football everywhere else is. Like and
Uh,
then you see it's a bit crazy the money in football. Um, but like it's 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 really good for us to have not just Filipino foreigners playing in foreign leagues, but for you to say you have a locally born, raised, and trained Filipinos playing in foreign leagues. Like
mm,
we're from let's say 10 years ago, we've taken it a step up or a couple levels up, and then from now we hope to bring it even more. We want to send out more local players. We want to have more local teams. I think the idea is to be able to really tie up a system where more college players can train or play with professional teams also in the off season where it's not conflicting because I know even with basketball and volleyball, college players can't get that training on the next level because it would jeopardize their amateur status to play in the UAP. And then a lot of these players rely heavily on scholarships.
yes, yes,
So
that's
if
true.
if they if they made that mistake of accidentally playing with a team in another league and then the UAP found out and then they're no longer allowed to play,
That's right.
scholarships revoked, education um, let's say canceled or revoked as well. Like
That's right.
huge opportunities lost.
Mm.
So I think it's very important that um, instead of in a way competing with each other, we find a way to work together. Because like the most recent case I think was Harvey, obviously playing with ADT.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to forego his last year in UAAP to play pro
That's right. Yeah.
because he's one of the bright young talents of the Philippines that really has the um, capability and the natural talent to play abroad.
And you've played against him, right?
Yeah, I've played against him, and the kid's fast.
Is he really? Huh?
He's
He's
fast,
big, isn't he? Like
and
he's
he's tall too.
built.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's tall.
He's
It's
built.
not fair that I'm
Good
5'7" and other
matchup for
people
you
How,
are.
guys.
how tall is he? How tall is he?
I want to say he's at least 5'10" ish, maybe 5'11" probably.
Wow,
But
and he's big. Like he's muscularly big, right? He's like
he got bigger the last year or so, ever
right.
since the last time I played him. Because even as Stallion, like when he was still with Ateneo, we'd play them in whenever college teams ask to play us to prepare for UAP, we never say no because we always want to help them, and that's also an opportunity for us to look at possible players from the college teams. Okay, who's graduating,
Right.
who's maybe going to be ready in a year or two. We'll keep an eye on them because right now we have about I want to say about 8 players from local college teams, and
Okay.
then we're over the last 2-3 years we were well represented in UAP. We had LaSalle, Ateneo, UST, FU, UP, and NU
Wow.
players. So
Mm.
my dad especially, like the club's vision is to um, really develop local players and be able
Homegrown.
to send them,
Yeah.
to be able to send them abroad because uh, realistically that's where the money is for them. We want them to make a better living elsewhere, and just to be able to say you played abroad is not a lot of people can say that.
Especially for
Yes,
football.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
Right.
especially for football.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
lalabas na Pinoy ang import sa ibang bansa Pinoy, 'di ba?
Meron na
Yeah.
yan, Sir J. By the
Oh.
way, I'm finally
back?
in my
Oh,
ideal spot. Thank you.
yeah,
And
for a moment, Claro broke the space-time contagion limits at 2 places, but now
yeah, my
there's a
Oh.
one.
apologies. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry
You
again for that,
disinfect
Matt.
already? You take a shower? You alcohol yourself?
I just locked off my room to make sure no one else enters, and
I
I'm gonna
guess he
clean this
hurriedly
place up.
hung the Gilligan's or Stallion jersey behind him.
Yeah, of
I guess that's
course.
the first thing he did.
Oh.
Stallion. You gotta support. We had Kaya last week. Now we had Stallion. Who knows? We gotta support Philippine football, and of course, guys, Gilligan's a big sponsor of Stallion, and they really made a lot of contributions to Philippine football.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm finally here officially. Yeah, but
Okay.
perhaps we were able to talk football. And Sir Jay, I wanna let you know. I know we do have imports because in
Yeah.
Thailand you're allowed to have I don't know 3 imports, quote unquote, or you call them foreign players in
Foreign
football.
players.
3 of them from any continent, okay lang. And
Mhm.
then yung isa Asian, and then yung isa specifically ASEAN. So those
Okay.
have been like the imports, and Filipinos have been getting preference lately to play there. So we can really see how the sport has been able to grow. And I
Mm-mm.
think Matt, one of your teammates from college and Stallion jump.
Yeah, so right now, Patrick Dato is playing in Thailand. He's been there. I think this is his second season or season half. He did half a season last year, and then it's his first full season now. So yeah, we played together in college, and then he had a 6 month spell with Stallion last year. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play with him because I was still recovering from my ACL at that time. So we didn't get to have that nice little reunion. But obviously, in training, we were still hanging out in training together and everything. But officially in a game, we never got to play together. But I'm happy for him that he's in Thailand now. I think he was very underrated as a goalkeeper, especially for a homegrown player. You don't get a lot of 6 foot goalkeepers in the Philippines. So that was a very big deal. And then he actually used to play field in high school.
Okay.
And
In
then
where? In Zubel?
in Zubel, yes. And then there was a point where he just shot up, and then Coach Hans was just like, "Okay, you got to play goalkeeper. I need a tall goalkeeper." So,
His growth
as a,
spurt came in.
yeah, blessing in disguise because he turned into one of the top keepers in the country.
Yeah.
Very happy for him that he's playing abroad.
Nice.
Yes, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Since we were able to cover like the football side, maybe we can
Yep.
jump to maybe your work-life balance because we see and we know that you have a lot of you have a lot on your plate because you're not only playing for Stallion, but you also have your day job with your family business.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh,
my
okay.
screen froze, but I'm still in. Yeah, but how are you able to do all of this?
Um, well, it being the family business, it's a little more flexible, like favors me that way. Um, but yes, my dad is my coach, my boss, 24/7.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's
So
your twin.
been his on call the last I'm 27, so I've been on call about 27 years now.
Is he your roommate?
No, but his room is down the hall from mine, and I'm just a shout away. So same.
Yeah, the
Same, same.
watchful eye is still
Uh,
there. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's watchful eye is still
Um,
there.
but yeah, like uh, it helps obviously being in the family business. Like no questions asked. Like when we have games, when we have training, he knows okay, can't do stuff. During this lockdown, uh, since we couldn't really train and training at home was maybe just an hour or two, we actually are designing a mask for a US client, and then it's going to be produced locally. Um, it's called Airlock. I'm pretty sure it's been announced already, but it's one of our big projects for us, and we're actually opening a factory in Calamba soon.
Nice.
So it's nice because as this whole COVID thing is happening, and it's very unfortunate that a lot of businesses are closing, we're able to open a business and expand and offer more jobs to Filipinos. So that's a nice little thing we were able to achieve. It's still ongoing. So as Clara said, let's say it's training in the morning. I get to eat breakfast if I'm lucky, and then Matt, you got to do this.
Mm.
Is that even
Yeah.
there while you're inside the, inside Seda?
Oh
When
yeah,
you're not training, you have to go work, and then
yeah, exactly. I had to bring my whole work from home setup to the hotel.
wow,
Or like
I
no
work
have
from
escape, no
hotel
escape.
setup.
exactly work from hotel setup.
Yeah. Kindly describe to us.
Oh,
I think we lost Lance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Pero
very-
hindi. Allow me to say this. I think Matt is a perfect example, or maybe the envy of the town, that talk about work-life balance, because this gives you the capability, or the ability, or the advantage of you focusing solely on your game, tapos undistracted in your training. For sure, undistracted of things to do from your work, eh. Diba? Because
Yeah, yeah.
first, your dad is your boss, and your dad is your coach.
hmm
That's another advantage.
it's both. It can be both a
Both.
blessing and a curse.
yeah,
In terms of that work life balance, and the flexibility, yeah, it's a blessing.
Hmm.
Then it's also a curse because
you have no
uh,
excuse.
I have no
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah, no
We
excuse.
ride together before we'd ride together from games. So
Mhm.
if I messed up in the game, I'd hear it.
Man.
The whole ride
The
home.
whole ride.
Sometimes all the way from Lipa back to home, which is maybe like an hour.
Oh my god,
Yeah, Metro
Yeah.
Manila traffic, just like Claro
got
endured
stuck in
today.
one. So
Yeah.
where is he more hard on you? Is he tougher in you at work or tougher you in during the game? Like in
It
football or-
depends. It depends. I'd say it's a little bit of both. But actually, yeah, that's hard. Maybe in the game because well, also me personally, like it's tough because I'm the son of the coach. So
You have to put more
like
pressure on
for
you.
exactly. So
Yeah.
like people outside, even like new players, even my teammates sometimes, I I don't want to be known just as the son of the coach, like, oh, he's only playing because he's the son of the coach. Like
Right.
that
That's kind
that
of
to me
pressure.
personally would just be like I wouldn't want to get that kind of free ride to start and to play. So I would like to think I work my ass off to deserve that spot.
Right.
And I want to show them like, okay, I earned my spot. I'm gonna play. Like if he feels like I messed up and I need to be subbed off, I don't need to play this game, something like that. I understand it. Like that's us also trying to be very professional. Um, like just me as a player, like even in college, like there was one or two games I messed up. Coach Hans took me off. You just kind of you accept it. Like you were given your chance, you fucked up, he took you out. It's nothing personal. It's just there's a bigger goal, there's a bigger idea. It's for the team. So,
Yeah.
same thing here. Like, yeah, he's my dad, but I'm not gonna take it against him that he took me off because I let the team down or he just
Right.
wants to change it up, something like that.
So it's different.
Yeah.
Speaking of last year, Lipa, before I flip the switch and we can show the good side, no? Man, if you had a tough game and we had to go home from Lipa, because I covered some of your games last season, man, that's a pretty long drive from Lipa to Metro Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah, must have been tough. But let's flip the switch. I'm sure you had good games, and I've seen it, myself covering the PFL. So of course the car ride must have been much much better. I'm sure you've had your share of good car
Yeah, of
rides going
course.
home. Yeah.
Of course. Like we have really good moments where we're sometimes like the team wouldn't perform very well or we expected a bit better. So we discuss it, like me on the field, like what I saw, him as the coach, like what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's our relationship. And then because like by default I'm like his extra eyes and ears
Right.
on the
Yeah.
field.
True.
So
Yeah.
sometimes obviously you see something differently from the sidelines. And then like in my position, I'd see some things differently as well. And then so yeah, we'd have bad moments, we'd have good moments, we have great moments. That's part of it. You can't deny that. I'm not gonna say every moment was a bad car ride with my dad. That's not true.
Do you
Um,
trash? I have a question. Do you trash talk each other? Or I mean, do you team up in trash talking an opponent in the car? For example, if you have that car ride, your dad is saying to you, "No, you can score on that goalkeeper, or you can cross that. You can cross that defense. It's too easy for you." Then you agree, like, "Yes, that's true. I can do that. So simple."
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we in a way to put it, we talk shit together.
See,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
the
top
thing.
tier of father and son moment
Yeah,
Yes,
because your
because
father's your coach. Not everyone
yeah.
gets that. You have like
oh,
it's like up
It's
there the
hard.
pyramid.
It's yeah. People. I feel like very few people will really get to understand that. Like, um, when you say, I have mixed feelings about telling people, oh yeah, my dad's my coach, because then the first thing I think they're gonna say is, oh, he's only playing pro because his dad's the coach. Like
mm,
that's like the worst. And so, um, like again, I really tried to prove them wrong and everything.
You want to avoid
But
that.
but that relationship with my dad, like sometimes we'll disagree, especially like when we get new players coming in to try out and take a look. We'd be like, oh, this guy's pretty good, and then he'd be like, no, but I don't think he'll fit our system, something like that. Then there are
Right.
other times where he'll say, um, I think this player is going to be good for us, and I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like I'm
You're that
playing,
open.
yeah, I'm like
oh,
I'm playing with him on the field. I'm like, Dad, what the fuck's wrong with you? He goes, no, 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 no. Trust me. Like he sees, and I can't deny it. There have been a couple instances where I've second guessed his decision so many times, and then
Right.
eventually, it not in the short term he'll be right, but then give it a couple months, and then he'll be like, this guy turned out pretty good, and I'll be like, well, no, fuck
Oops.
me, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Oops.
you
No,
mentioned
but
that. You mentioned that differing perspectives.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Different perspectives. Like it helps us. Like I feel if you had someone who saw everything your way and the same view and everything, it wouldn't really help. Like you would
Mm,
just have like a yes man all the time and not someone to like
Bounce ideas.
give you a different angle. Like you see it this way, but okay, let's turn it a little bit and be like, okay, how about you see it this way? And
That's right.
then you open up and you're a little more open to ideas and stuff like that.
That's a
I
good.
agree.
It's
yeah.
actually both beneficial for both of you. That's
Yeah.
very beneficial.
Given all that, Matt, do you see yourself maybe becoming a coach
I
one
was
day?
just gonna
Maybe.
ask that too. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we great minds think alike.
Are you
Maybe
gonna
starting
Uh,
out from the youth level. No.
are you gonna be
Um.
hard on your kid?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah. Oh,
You
mind you
are. Huh?
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
mind you
two
guys.
daughters.
Yeah, like Matt's able to do everything here. He has his job, and he also plays, and then he's also raising two daughters.
Yeah. Oh,
For
but
the
you have to be
yeah.
nice to your daughters. You're not. It's different when it's when it's a
A little
boy.
bit, yeah, little bit. But then, my wife and my sisters laugh at me for it because sometimes I they say like I treat my daughters like sons, and I just be like, no, I treat my kids as my kids. Like
All right. Yeah.
that's this is my parenting style. Like if you guys want to do it your way a little bit different, that's fine. But like this is me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I love my kids, but at
How
the
old
end
are
of
they?
the day, one is just turned 7, and the other one is about 1.5.
And they're already. The 7-year-old is probably already kicking a soccer ball. Huh?
Yeah, she's been
Yeah.
playing the last maybe 2+ years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Little league.
the
Little league.
yeah,
Little
she
leaguers.
was playing. Oh no, never mind. She was still a bit too young. They were just playing like exhibition games at tournaments and stuff like that. Yeah,
Cute.
Mm.
but she's exposed to it. She comes to games also. She gets excited when in our home games when the Lakeside squad is there. She likes the drums and she knows
Okay.
the song. She knows the
Yeah.
chants.
You know.
You know, yeah. So that's
Right.
Try hard
that's
fan.
that's how you know you're raising a little hooligan.
Yeah. Wait, when she's in college, what happens if she goes to Ateneo?
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
There are
Not
some
allowed.
lines that should not be crossed.
Yeah, Matt and I might end up leaving this video chat now if you push
Yeah.
that, Claudia.
No. So you're the
And,
one who created the rivalry.
it's
Yeah,
there.
and
I just make sure it's still there.
yeah, and to carry on, we see that you're able to juggle so much stuff, and I think you pretty much explained to us how do you do engineering and varsity ball. I think with the way you explained, you're able to handle all sorts of stuff. That answers the question because I think you took up electronics and
Yes,
communications
electronics and
engineering.
community. Yes. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in electronics and communications engineering.
Oh, Sir J, ka-vibes
Yeah,
kayo in
cool
that
stuff.
aspect, no?
Yeah, I took up BSECE 2, pero sa pamantasan nung sa Maynila ako back in 2010. And I also taught. I also
Mhm.
taught
Hmm.
ECE
Yeah,
2.
but they're two engineers
Oh,
right here in the podcast, so you can
Yeah.
get along in that
you,
technical
you still
aspect.
remember calculus?
Oh my gosh.
Barely. My my youngest sister, so yeah, she's in LaSalle now, and then she goes to me, she's
Oh.
like, Kuya, I need help with calculus. You're taking pre-med, why do you need calculus? I don't know, but I have a calculus class.
Oh.
And I asked Dad, and Dad said to ask you guys because you guys went to engineering. So like I
Automatic
looked at
goes
it.
to you when it's
Yeah, I
cal.
looked at it and I was like, it looks familiar, but not really. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh.
okay, there's this program called Wolfram Alpha that teaches you everything. So you just have to type in, like, how you'd Google a question like, okay, what is the solution for this? So I told her to
Yes,
do
yeah.
that, and then so we
Yeah.
looked at it, and I was like, okay, now I remember. So I explained it in such a way that I pretended to give her the
Yes.
solution, but really we were just looking at it together.
It's
You know,
that. It's either Wolfram Alpha or you look at the YouTube videos of all those Indian professors that
Exactly. YouTube
teach
YouTube
mathematics.
University.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's true. That's how we do things.
You
That's
could
how we
become a
do
doctor just by watching YouTube. I mean,
oh really? Are you sure? Huh? I might shift career. No, but
you become a lawyer or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Google.
yeah. And Jay
Oh,
just gave that recommendation and agreed, and Jay was a prof, so that's
yeah.
really a big check.
Why are you going to make everything hard for yourself? Diba? Is that right,
Do it.
Matt?
Yeah, like some
Good for
profs would just
you.
be like, okay, I'm gonna check attendance, and then you can look up this guy on YouTube, watch a couple of videos, and then we'll have a problem set next week. Like
End of
some people are
class.
just like that. End of class. Like
Eh,
why
yeah,
even?
yeah,
And
that's
this
true.
is
Not even here.
and this is only when it was still Yahoo groups, Facebook groups was just starting out. So you didn't have all these like messaging apps and stuff. You still get emails.
So he was
And
ahead
then
of his time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just tell them, okay, the English might be a little hard to understand, but just look at the whiteboard and you should be
Yeah.
able to understand what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
The
can we
secret
like
is in repetition.
Mhm.
can we
Repeatedly
shift
watch it, you're good to go.
can we shift this real quick to Sir J? Sir J,
Yeah. Bakit
ganun
tayo
din yung
lumayo?
is that your teaching style also? YouTube.
No, the thing is ganito. I do lectures. I'll just show it once. Diba? That's it. Because we don't have that much of time to explain repeatedly over and over again. Because you have this term that only lasts for a few months. Diba? And then you have to skip to another lesson to advance. That So you have to advance to another lesson. You have a timeline that you should follow. So if you're not able to get that subject or get that topic,
You won't be
we
able to catch up.
apparently we won't wait for you. We won't wait
You'll
for
be
you.
left behind.
Yes, we'll be left behind. So it's actually the students' prerogative or it's the students' initiative to learn it to themselves. Because you have to remember in college, my principle in college, it's not what you learn, but it's how you learn things.
Yeah, like the Indian YouTube guy could help you a lot.
Yes, diba? Wherever you
Lifesaver,
get
you
your
know?
learnings will work for you.
Mhm.
Will work,
Mhm.
whatever works for you.
Hopefully, when you do your thesis, when you have to like defend your thesis, you don't have an Indian accent. It doesn't come out while you're.
I think you get an accent when you live in a place, so I don't think that's a
No,
problem.
if you're
Yeah.
learning, if you're learning how to say those words, you
Yeah,
might
you're
Pero-
watching
Mhm.
you're watching videos of an Indian guy explaining stuff for a few
Mm.
hours a day. You kind of catch
Oh.
you'll
on.
catch it. Yeah, you could get.
Uh, Pero I
Good
wonder,
point.
that's one thing about the ECE stuff. I wonder if Matt was able to visit that place in Taft Avenue, Igismo.
Of
Because
course,
we dropped by
that's
that place a lot of
yeah.
times.
I think for Taft we're very lucky because it's basically right outside the gate.
Yes.
Yeah, but then if it wasn't Igismo, it was Raon.
You go to Raon. You go to
Yeah,
Santa Cruz.
yeah. So
No.
you'd go there, but yeah, we're
Yeah.
lucky that Igismo was right there. You go there like once a week for lab stuff, for
Yes.
projects. Yeah.
That's where we buy electronic stuff, guys. By
Yeah,
the way.
when you do a project and you accidentally blow something up and you gotta get replacement parts.
Yes.
Accidentally
Always,
blow something up.
yeah,
No, we blow
always
stuff
happens
up.
all the time.
Blow stuff up.
Really?
Oh. Yes, we blow
Yeah.
stuff up. We require those things. We require those.
I did
If
have an
if
accidental or witnessed an accidental explosion in high school. Yeah, it happens, Claudia.
like
Yes.
if you didn't blow something up when you were experimenting, you did it wrong.
Yes.
Like you weren't experiencing engineering the right way. Like you have to
Yeah.
Yes.
break
So
something
how many
and
things
then
did you?
fix it and then break it again.
How
I
many
almost
did you
started a
blow
fire
up?
when I was a
A
student.
couple, yeah, a couple. And
Yeah.
then we slowly learned that it gets a little expensive to keep blowing stuff up. So you try to make sure you don't have to buy parts again, or
Yeah.
suddenly
Yeah.
Gizmo doesn't have stock because all the students of that batch are buying the same
They blew up the same thing.
And they
materials.
blew. Yes.
Yeah.
They blew everything. They blew.
Mhm.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh. Okay.
you know, before we
Fun stuff.
conclude the second part, we have some
Uh,
quotable quotes there from engineering from you, Matt. That's really interesting.
Like to blow things
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, but no, to conclude, like the work life balance, I think people don't know, or you are the guy also who designs jerseys, the jerseys of Stallion Laguna, like that exact shirt you're wearing, and you're also the designer of Cuts Apparel, which is a shirt I'm wearing now. This is something you designed, of course.
wow.
And how did you get into this? Because you're an engineer,
Yeah.
and then you're into sports, and then all of a sudden you branch out to clothing or fashion, which is on along a different line. Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually started with my high school friend, Andy Tan. He actually played baseball in Ateneo. So same batch and everything. And then we graduated about the same time. And just like over college and stuff, we'd keep in touch, just message and everything. And we just both shared of an interest in athletic attire,
Okay.
or as today it's athleisure. But
Athleisure.
basically sportswear is
Right.
how we would say it. And so um, we always just liked having nice uniforms. Like me, sometimes I wouldn't be happy with the design we got from for our LaSalle uniforms. So like in my head, I'd come up with suggestions, or you see these like nice football kits from club teams or national teams, and you'd be like, that would be like super sick in LaSalle white and green. And then we'd have that mentality, and then he would also be like, oh, this would look really good in Ateneo white and blue. I said, no, Ateneo does not deserve anything.
And
Hey
we'll,
guys, that didn't come from me,
that's
okay?
it. We'll cut everything and then
Claudia, I think you have some connection also, huh?
with
To
Ateneo.
not Ateneo,
Oh
but
no, I with
LaSalle.
LaSalle, of course.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
am I wearing green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like from that, we kind of wanted to come up with our own local sportswear brand, because why would we spend couple maybe thousand on Nike, Adidas, Under Armour shirts that just say made in China, made in the Philippines, stuff like that. So we tried to do something locally, and then we very quickly learned it's hard. retail Retail is very hard. So that didn't pan out so well, but then I still got interested in everything, and then that was the first time I designed the pink kit for Stallion. So
Oh, did you?
our club is
Mm.
known as the team that wears a pink kit. So I think the last, I want to say, 4 or 5 years, I've been designing our kits. And then about 2 years ago, I started working with Claro and his cousin for cuts.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's not really something I advertise, because right now, like my personal schedule with football and then family business and wanting to spend a lot of time with my kids also.
Yeah, you have to
So
balance it.
Claro gets it from me a lot of the time when he's like, I need a rush project for this client, and I'd be like, Claro, fuck you. Like you can get your shit when I say you can get your shit. You don't get to message me saying, yeah, I need this by tonight.
Yeah, I know. Right before,
That's
you
a
know,
great
Matt.
business partner there,
Matt
Claro.
beat Matt beat me to it because I was gonna go and say, and yeah, I'm one of those guys who, there's Coach Ernie who would of course take up Matt's time, and after Matt's done handling with that, oh yeah, here comes Claro. Oh man, things start to come at about 4 p.m. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
He's
You
just like my
torture each
dad.
other.
You got it
Matt
from your
and
dad.
Claro.
Yeah, he's just like my dad because sometimes my dad will be like, um, it's 3 p.m. Okay, I need this by 6. I'm like, Dad, that takes half a day to do. Okay, I need this by 6. And it's like, so obviously I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
And then here comes Claro at 6. Oh, hi Matt. I need this in 30 minutes.
I think I go in at 4 p.m. No,
But I like your one. I like your pink jersey. I should get. I should get a. I should get a copy. I should get one shirt. You still
Yeah,
have
Yeah,
it?
we actually haven't properly released this year's jersey because we wanted to have like a nice photo shoot, but then we couldn't, and then it got a little complicated.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so
So how does one
hopefully
fan
soon.
get a jersey?
Um, we've been taking pre-orders because it's
Right.
kind of hard to after that whole retail
Yeah.
and adventure that didn't pan out so well. We learned to not really invest so much. We're not a big club, obviously. Like your Real Madrids, your
Yeah.
Barcelona
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. You can't make a couple thousand and sell the thousand. So what we did last year was we took pre-orders. We explained to the clients that it takes about 2 weeks to make,
Yeah.
but they can customize it obviously, so they can put their own name and number, or they can get the name and number um, of their favorite player, or whatever they want basically. And so there we get that. Yeah, it just takes 2 weeks to make, but then at least it's personal to you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
It's really
I
cool.
feel like the quality of our jersey is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Clara and I have discussed this with like just referencing a bunch of other jerseys from other brands and other clubs.
Mm,
And I would like to think locally we have the best
nice.
kits.
Nice.
When you get pre-orders, I want to get the pink one. If it's
yeah,
Yeah,
sign us up.
let
Sign
me
us
grab
up.
one real
Just
quick.
let us know.
I think I got one.
I can grab your old jersey too behind me if you want. Yeah,
No, we got to do the pink one for
the new one.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
One.
So
while you're doing that, there was that.
there you go.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
while you're doing this,
That.
there's that
Yeah.
rivalry now. Maharlika and Stallion. Stallion saying that pink is theirs because they've been around for a much longer time. Because Maharlika have a pink kit, so I'm looking forward to that matchup with them.
But
Yeah.
Maharlika doesn't use the pink. They only use it in their warm-ups, I think. They don't-
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not.
Or let's see if they have an alternate. Because as of recording, we've only had one
Black.
game so far. Yeah, but sign us up, Matt, for the Stallion jerseys.
Yeah.
yeah,
All of us are down.
hopefully we can release that soon. Maybe we'll just grab a couple photos from tomorrow's game and use that to promote the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
That's
missed
really
out.
cool.
I missed out on last year's jerseys, and then the guys here in the podcast will have who the heck are we at the back?
Yeah, we can. I'll hook that up.
Number
Awesome.
question mark.
Yeah.
Number question mark.
Yeah. Okay.
Brett?
So let's wrap up. Maybe this work-life balance of yours. Do it all, and we can go real quick. To speak football, because earlier we got talk about your personal story. In football now, because of COVID, there's fixture congestion. It's now going to be 5 subs for tournaments that
Mhm.
end within 2020.
Yeah.
How is this gonna change the game for you, or how do you see it?
And explain the five because most people understand that there's 3 subs.
Yeah.
If you, yeah. Just
Including me.
explain
I
So-
only know it has 3.
but it's 5
Yeah.
now.
So
Yeah.
3 actually, even prior to this, I always felt like 3 was kind of not enough. Basketball is open sub. It's a smaller court, of course, but you get that flying substitution where you're able to play the game fast paced the whole time. For football, where you're only given 3 subs, it becomes very challenging as a coach because ideally you're starting with your players who are best performing at that time or who you think will perform in this game. And then if unfortunately someone makes some mistakes or needs to be changed or maybe an injury, that's already a substitution. And then you're only given three.
Right.
So each of those three subs has to be important. They have to be how my dad likes to say, they have to be impact subs. So they have to change the game in your favor. So if that doesn't pan out, then it's a waste of a sub. Like I think one of the biggest um, kind of hardest things to do is having to sub a sub. It's happened a couple times, and you as this player that got subbed, like you subbed in and then you're subbed out because you're not performing well. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So adding 5 subs gives you more room for adjustments, and it also adds for player rotation because with this congested schedule, you're resting 2 days, and then you have another game, and then rest another 2 days, and you have another game. So realistically, it's not very safe in terms of preventing injuries and all that stuff. So at least we'd be able to rotate players some more. Like you could give this player, let's say, a half or 60 minutes, and then sub him out because you want to start him again for the next game.
Yes.
Or you could give a couple youth players a chance. We got a couple young guys on our team. A lot of the other teams have a couple young players as well. So it's always nice for them to get a chance to play. Like it's a very short season, so um, you want to play everyone. Like as a coach or me also as a teammate, like I don't want my young guys to get a feel of how it is. It's a short season now, yes. Maybe you'll get a couple minutes in this game, 1 or 2 games, but then it sets you up for next season. Hopefully next season everything's better. We'll get more games, not just the 5 now. But yeah, in terms of that 5 sub rule, I think after this season, hopefully it's kept because I know in the Premier League they opted not to keep it.
They moved
Which-
back to the 3.
Yeah, they moved back to the 3, which I
The three.
personally think is a step backwards because adding 5 subs, just like the kind of flying sub in basketball, you're basically replacing half your team who started, and then these 5 players now have X number of minutes to kind of go all out and to keep the tempo up.
Yeah.
And especially
Yeah.
now,
Agree.
that's the kind of football that's very attractive, the high tempo, kind of high octane, like fast paced game that's going on.
Yeah. No more jogging. No more jogging in the
Yeah.
field. No more jogging.
I mean, you do jog. That's
Yeah.
the average time a player actually has the ball is like 3 minutes a whole
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you given that opportunity, you want to make the most out of it,
You're right.
but also you wanna make sure like if uh we're a high pressing team or like we like to chase down our opponents,
Yes.
but
Yes.
usually we're given like a week in between games. But now that we only have 2, you want to be able to rotate players and but keep the tempo up, but still keep certain players fresh for maybe the next game.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just that rotation and everything.
Crazy.
Now that you mentioned, well, just bouncing off because basketball has a back and forth pace. 7-a-side football has that also. It's open, so it's open sub. So they have that similarity, maybe we could say, in terms of
Mhm.
pacing, the back
Yeah.
and forth. But all right, maybe let's segue to like our final round. It's just a quick fire thing, Matt, where we ask one question each. I don't know, guys. Malas ba ako? Because when I came in, Lance disappeared.
Yeah, you might be like the
Yeah,
yeah.
Lance disappeared, and I
You
didn't
stole
do
his
anything.
internet.
Maybe I'm just bad luck, but maybe
You stole his
Claudia or
internet.
Sergey, yeah, you guys can ask 2 questions in place of Lance. Someone can just
The quick
compensate.
fire. Okay.
Yeah,
You start,
but I can
Claudia.
start off,
Sige, sige.
Matt.
You start.
So if you were to bring any 3 of your teammates, whether it be, grade school, high school, college, even professional, if you were to bring any 3 teammates to an eat all you can buffet, or maybe in your case, Gilligan's, because they are your team sponsor, who would they be?
3 teammates. Let's keep it current teammates now, because
Sure.
that's way too many teammates to think about. I'd gotta go with my roommate right now. He's one of the young guns on the team. He's a new signing, JV. So him being my roommate, I see how much he eats. Sometimes it's a bit too much for me, so I give him what I have left over. He eats that, and then he'll take a little trip down someone else's room and see if they got
There's
a little
food.
something left over. Yeah. And
He's a
then there's
sweeper.
also he's basically the team garbage can.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's
And
one.
that's one. The team joke is our keeper Nelson Gasic eats a lot. Yeah, so right now they actually have one of the rice cookers in their room.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
See?
instead of cooking for the team, he cooks for himself.
You're
That's a
allowed
lot
to
of
bring a
rice,
rice cooker here in the bubble.
Yeah, that's one of the few things we clarified, because we can't go out to eat, obviously, and
Yes.
it gets expensive to order food out or even order food from the hotel, and sometimes you kind of just want more.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we all have our own little like stashes just in case. And then one more player. That's kind of tough. I want to say our other keeper.
Okay.
Ken James. He's a young kid from Ateneo.
And you're gonna bully him.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna bully him.
guy from Ateneo.
You're gonna bully him in the buffet.
Yep.
All right. So okay. So you got two goalkeepers and your roommate.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go next. Okay.
Okay, well, yeah.
All right. So Matt, there's an earthquake, right? And
Mhm.
there's only one thing that you have to pick out, right, before you run out of the house. So would you choose your La Salle Zobel jersey, your first soccer jersey in La Salle Zobel? You played in La Salle Zobel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Southwood jersey. Okay. You played in Southwood as well, right? Or your Stallions jersey.
I want to say
Jokes on
something.
you. I can grab all three.
No, only one. Only one.
I want to say something, but let's wait for Matt.
Only one.
That's tough. Well, realistically, I only have Stallion jerseys left because I actually donated all my old jerseys.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
But
okay,
if
fine.
you had them all,
For the sake of the question,
Yeah.
I'm in Stallion now, so I'm gonna get new jerseys anyway. I gotta grab the LaSalle one.
okay, there you go. All right,
Yeah,
so-
I wanted to hear Matt, but I was just gonna say, you're the designer. You can just make
Exactly.
them again, right?
I'll make a new one. I'll call Claro. I'll be like, Claro, need a new jersey, but the LaSalle one
Clara, I
can
need this
kind
by
of
6.
never be remade. Yeah.
Then Carlos, I
My
need it
turn.
by 6. Yeah.
Oh, mind you, if
Sorry,
it's
but-
one shirt, I will bend over backwards for it. I've done it a few times.
Wow.
We've done it a lot.
Oh,
Not a few,
Yeah.
a lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Jay, you have
Let's
one.
go, Sir
Okay.
Jay.
So it's not really about you, but it's about your coaches. So if you make Coach Hans and your dad play FIFA 2020, here's the first question. Who do you think's gonna win?
The controller, because they wouldn't figure out how to play.
Okay. Which will lead me to my next question.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There you go. The second one.
Who is the first one who will likely break the controller first?
Ooh, that's tough.
Question is, how many will they break each?
Whichever you want to answer. I wanted to know who's gonna break it first, but I think it's a tie. So who's gonna break?
That's hard. They're both gonna break it.
I
They're
think
both,
I think the question, who's gonna break the console?
yeah. It's like
Okay, let's do
not
the
first to.
console.
It's gonna be a race to who's gonna just break the console and maybe throw the controller at the TV.
Yes, a TV. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, that's a good one, Sir Jay. If we put it in football perspective, breaking the console is the penalty shootout. That's the next level already. And I don't know. 4 of us are online now. Unfortunately, Lance is out.
Yeah.
our Coach Hans might put our head on a silver platter. I don't know about Coach Ernie. Maybe also.
Yes, I'm really curious, but because I know we know Coach Hans would voluntarily step forward and say, "Oh, it's me." I don't know about your dad. you know him you know those two
I
guys
don't know.
very well. You know,
Yeah, but I don't know. I like personally both. I've seen them struggle with their cell phones. So a console is like next level. Not even gonna go there.
I think I
Okay.
asked a very difficult question. Okay,
It
let's
Yeah,
leave
was.
it
It's
at
Sir
actually the
that.
hardest question to answer. I'm gonna answer you with a
Good.
question.
Sir J, I don't know. You tested Jovin last episode already, and now it's Matt. You come up with
Yeah,
really
okay.
interesting
I
questions.
I think
Yeah.
okay. I think
That was a
Matt.
good question. Though, yeah.
I think Matt also deserves to answer this question.
Yes.
On a penalty, okay, we talk about penalty shootout. There's a penalty shootout. Who do you think you would score mo- on if
More.
your keeper is Etheridge or if your keeper is Dato? Don't tell me it's also a tough one.
Well, I'm only gonna say this because, or well, I'll just say Patrick because I have scored a penalty against Patrick. And that's only happened.
Okay.
I want to say 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Twice in
okay.
the Salle training and one in an actual game.
Okay.
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 I've never played Neil, and knowing him, he's a really big guy. He's really intimidating. Like it might be easier to kind of just kick the ball out and accept defeat.
You're gonna
um,
choose Dato because you already did it.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Okay.
like the safe answer. And if he gets mad at me, I'm just gonna be like, "Come on, guy, I had to answer it."
You had the proof, and you had the proof.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, it was just the one time. You've saved a bunch of my shots anyway, so
Sir J, this is a
Yeah.
really good question because maybe we can get a reason to get Patrick on the show. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Galing, galing.
yes,
Yeah. No,
yes.
so yeah, before we conclude, sorry, I had my traffic problem. Sorry. Um, I want to jump back a little with college before, we just close everything for you. Am I correct that you didn't get subbed off in any game in your fifth year? Well, if you still did get subbed off once, how were you able to keep your stamina up there? Because normally we see players, come off at least once a season, maybe.
really depends. Me as like when I've discussed with my dad and other coaches, and even like I watch a lot of like football analysis videos and stuff. Just kind of my personal opinion would be that ideally you never want to sub your defense,
Mm.
because for me, like let's say you're playing a back four, you have your back four and your keeper. That's like in a way your solid foundation for the team going forward. um and just I feel like sometimes the defensive aspect of games or the defenders are often overlooked because the attackers are the flashy ones.
That's
They're the
right.
ones typically scoring the goals. Like they're the ones kind of like always featured and stuff like that. Especially now, like you'd have a lot of focus on players like Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. All of them are attackers, but then your low key guys who are kind of underappreciated are your Sergio Ramos,
Mm, yeah.
your Manuel Neuer, those guys who keep the ball from going in the net so the guys in front can score.
Right.
That's
Sergio
some
And then
Ramos
interesting
for
actually.
in
stuff.
terms of being subbed off, um, I uh, I'd like to think that like the coaches trusted me, and in a way, um, uh, I'm not like the best technically, like I don't have the best touch and stuff like that. But I'd like to think I always made up for it with my willingness to run and cover the other players. And like my position is defender, so that's my first job. And then if I can help the attack, I will. But ideally, like we do your duty. So I think that my last year, no, never subbed off.
Wow.
Whole UAAP career, I only missed one game because of twisted ankle at the start of the season. But that's really common in football. It was just unlucky that it happened like 3-4 days just before the first game.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
it wasn't. I didn't have enough time to recover from it. Um, and but then the week after, the game after, I was able to play. So that was good. And then I think I was only ever subbed off once.
Wow. That's an accolade. That's an achievement right there. Well done.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to think so.
Yeah.
That's
Iron Man
one
of
thing that
Salle.
not really. There have been a lot of tougher, stronger runners than me. But I just like, I guess in a way I can say, I can walk out like held, head held high, saying, I gave it my all. Like
Yeah.
especially that last game, unfortunately,
Obviously.
didn't go away, but I was still happy that I gave my all for the team, for the school, and
It's
hopefully I
reflected.
made a difference for the younger players after me.
Well done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good,
So
good.
like before we like really wrap it up, I know that you were saying earlier that you're a bit here because you guys weren't able to pick up the championship in your last year, but I was able to watch that, of course, as a sports fan, and I could really see that you gave like 110%, and I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of. And guys, that Matt had a viral video with his farewell speech, and it was really touching. And I can say, well, unfortunately, LaSalle or Matt's team the next year crashed out. And I heard one guy go in the huddle, I don't have to say anything anymore because Matt already said it last year. Like he just left it all there already. So yeah, I think that does it for this episode. Matt, thank you very much for coming on. Who the
Oh,
heck
Thank
are
you for
we?
having me.
oh,
This
one
was
more
fun.
thing. Invite Stallion fans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
Oh yeah, of course. So just not even Stallion fans, any football fans.
yeah.
Football is finally back, even if it's kind of weird. But will everyone adjust? Even the big leagues are doing it. We're gonna do it. So if you guys have time, check out the our games on all the PFL channels. All the players have special links for their games. So especially now that games are every 2 days, this is like the football content you need. So now's a great opportunity. You don't have to, obviously I'd like you to support Stallion, but support whatever club, anything to help local football. That's the bigger goal here. So yeah, thank you for having me again.
All
Yeah,
right, so
thank
that
you.
does it. Clara
Man.
Manzano, Lance Fernandez, Claudia Perrine, Jay De La Cruz, and of course our very special guest, Matt Nierras. Thank you again, Matt.
Thanks.
Awesome.